Iowa and I go back a long way, 68 years, in fact. I was born in Centerville, about 90 miles south-southeast of Des Moines, and 10 miles north of Missouri. I graduated high school in Centerville, then 3 degrees from the University of Iowa, followed by 5 years as an assistant professor at Stanford, and the rest of my career at the University of Texas at Austin. Y'all. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'd like to share with you some reminiscences. And I will start with the first time that I met Bob Hook. It was December 1963. I was in high school. I had just won a math contest sponsored by the Mathematical Association of America and the Society of Actuaries. The prize was an all-expenses-paid trip to Des Moines. I went with my high school teacher. A major memory of this trip was the awards dinner. The speaker was a young statistics professor who had driven over to Des Moines from Iowa City. His name, Bob Hook. I confess that I do not remember a word of what he said. Not one. But I distinctly remember the manner in which he said it. As he got into the subject, he grew increasingly excited. His eyes widened, his voice rose, his face turned red. I was fascinated. This guy had lied the old song that statisticians just lack personality to make it as accountants. I could imagine taking the course, but I had no real idea what a college course was like. No one in my family had ever been to college. I decided to go back. Still uncertain of the major, I listed mathematics or physics on my application. The order determined alphabetically. They put me in mathematics. That solved problems using a major. I understood that one could get a concentration in statistics within mathematics, but not a major in statistics. It was 1964. My freshman year. I heard talk that a department of statistics would be coming. What would that mean? Could I then major in statistics? Or would I need to choose between statistics and mathematics? Well, no. I would still get a concentration in statistics within a math degree. My math courses were taught in McLean Hall, where the math department and statistics were housed. The perimeters of the classrooms were lined with radiators, and the windows could actually be open. At that time, smoking in classrooms was still permitted. Many faculty and students did smoke in class, making me miserable. When I arrived in class, I would try to get a seat by the windows. I'd crack open the window, even in winter, in order to get a few breaths of clean air. Someone would get annoyed and close it. I would wait a few minutes and open it again. And so it went throughout class. The war of wills over clean, if cold, air. Then I took the foundational sequence in probability and mathematical statistics. That's when I met Tim Robertson. I was in the first class that Tim taught in Iowa. His PhD was not yet official, so he advised the students to address him as Mr. We called him Doctor. But anyway, through his tolerant annoyance. At the time, becoming an academic statistician was a vague possibility to me. I gave no thought to the possibility that Tim would ultimately supervise my dissertation along with Tim Wright. Yet, that is what happened. Through my interactions with Tim in that first sequence, I caught a glimpse of the life of the academic statistician. I recall that after a difficult test, he offered the class the opportunity to do a short paper for extra credit. I wrote a piece about the suitability of the Poisson model for the number of meteor impacts on the Earth. I concluded the model would not apply over geologic time, since the intensity rate was higher in the early solar system than later. That a model with a trend in lambda might work. Tim was sufficiently impressed that he sent a copy of my piece to his own advisor, Dan Brown. I thought there might be a future for me in that field. During the last 2 years of my undergraduate work, I decided that I wanted to do something that was perhaps a little bit less abstract than mathematics, so I widened my horizon a bit. I was working at the business school and took a second major in economics. I graduated in 1968. I'd always wanted a PhD, informed by old British movies of the 1930s and 40s, like Goodbye, Mr. Chips, which was actually about high school. I imagine that college professors sat around the library in their robes, smoking pipes and telling each other very light jokes. So I applied to graduate school. Berkeley, Illinois, and Iowa. I was admitted to all three and offered supported. So it was 1968. Historically important year. The height of the Vietnam War. I was about to lose my deferment and drafted into the Army. My local draft board was hungry for cannon fodder and mailed my 1A notice in spring of 1968. I was unlucky. If I had been born 1 year earlier, I could have kept my student deferment. 1 year later, I would have got into the draft lottery. My number would have been 324. I would have escaped the draft. Many of you are too young to have known about the draft lottery, but that botched randomization experiment is interesting statistical reading. Anyway, I decided to go to Iowa graduate school because Iowa offered me an NDEA fellowship, about which you heard yesterday. That was a lingering legacy of something designed to encourage what we now call STEM subjects. The NDEA fellowship was an early lesson for me on the benefits of tenure. See, there was a provision in the NDEA. It was a 3-year award that offered you tenure if you could complete 1 semester. Oops. Draft. That meant that I could be drafted, go into the Army, and return to the fellowship after service. And that security meant a lot to me at that time, as I faced an uncertain future. So I enrolled for graduate school in Iowa in fall of 1968, and using various maneuvers that we don't need to do now, I dragged out final resolution of my draft status till the end of the first semester in order to get tenure. During that semester, I took my only course from Ellen Craig before he retired. Great Southern gentleman, but a real stickler for detail. And once I found myself at the board, actually his questions all class. In February of 1969, I found myself wearing an old grad and carrying a rifle to basic training in Fort Polk, Indiana. The Army, in its unlimited wisdom, thought that my talents would be best employed by playing trumpet in an Army band. So that is what I did for 2 years, including 1 year assigned to funeral detail, during which time I played tax for 44 military funerals. Spring semester 1971, I was out of the Army back in Iowa to reclaim my fellowship and continue PhD studies. During that semester, I finally took a course from Bob Hogue, 8 years after I'd first met him. It was non-parametric statistics. He must have violated 9 out of every 10 cardinal principles that teacher colleges insist must be followed for effective education. But it didn't matter. He was effective anyway. His enthusiasm carried the day. My personal situation during graduate school was different from that of most of my fellow doctoral students. I did not have to TA in order to support myself. I had an MBA and GI Bill now. The two together provided about $600 a month. In addition, I'd saved my Army pay, and I had calculated that the least expensive way to get to graduate school was to own my own housing. But I could not afford a home. I could afford a lower home. And at this point, I must interrupt to ask a question of Dick Dykstra. Do the names Fred Kemp and Mike Kemp mean anything?
Oh, yes, you may ever. Fred Kemp was a real character.
Yep. They were the owner-managers, the father and son team, the owner-managers of the County Mobile Home Court out on Muscatine Avenue. Until yesterday, I had no idea that Dick had the same idea that I did. I bought a new 44 by 12 and parked it in the Town Mobile Home Court out on Muscatine. Now, I lived there for the next 2.5 years. When I graduated, I sold the mobile home for $500 less than I paid for it, taking a page unknown from the price. The spirit of the time was to break down some barriers between faculty and students. In addition, the graduate students will soon become the professional equals of faculty. Tim Robinson had given that some thought, and one day in class, he told us that he had an announcement. Clearly, there was something over which he had personal struggle. He began by talking in general about how faculty would address students informally using first names, but students would address faculty formally as professor or doctor. Well, he'd come to the opinion that it might be okay to reciprocate with the informality. At that point, he started to become very self-conscious, turned red, saying that, you know, you're not required to, and it would be okay if you do not, but if you want to, then you may call me Tim. However, for some of us, that was just too upsetting. I could not bring myself to call him Tim until some years after graduation. His wife, Joan, called him Timmy. I could no more conceive calling him Timmy than I could conceive calling my parents by first name. I took probability theory from Tim Robertson and read Robert Ash's book, which dovetailed nicely with my background in analysis. Tim encouraged me to start working on some research problems that involved Tim Wright, who was becoming a co-advisor. Robertson and Wright had a history of collaboration in what was then called isotonic regression. Curiously, the topic that we settled on for me had apparently nothing to do with isotonic regression. My dissertation was about consistency in estimating univariate and multivariate modes. Robertson had come across an analysis paper by a South African J.H. Venture on estimating the mode. He gave me the paper's assignment, and I improved and expanded Venture's results. I graduated without knowing anything about isotonic regression. 2 years after I returned from the Army, my dissertation was nearly finished, and I was ready to interview. I sent out a lot of applications. Just for fun, Tim and I included an application to open in the Department of Statistics at Stanford University. February 1973, Stanford picked. I was invited to an interview to give a talk on my dissertation. Yikes. I would be giving a lecture to the likes of Charles Stein, Bernie Chernoff, Brad Efron, Ted Anderson, and other Illuminati. I wrote out my speech in detail, including all the jokes. Committed it to memory and rehearsed it several times. The interview for the talk could not have gone better. For my part, I was just grateful for the opportunity. I had no expectation that anything would happen about it. I'd never been to California before. Palm trees on campus. The middle of February, and I could open the patio door of my hotel room and feel the balmy air. I drove up to San Francisco and sort of bike to see the place. When I returned to Iowa City, I found my car in the parking lot at the airport covered with 6 inches of snow and needing a jump start. I think I could do California. There then followed unsolicited offers to interview at the University of Chicago and Harvard. I visited Chicago. I told Fred Mosteller, chair at Harvard, to keep his money because I was going to Stanford. Stanford was good for me professionally and personally. My chairman thought that since I was from Iowa, I knew everything about isotonic regression. So why didn't I offer a seminar in it for the graduate students? I told him, he said, sure. So we read Peter the Fourth, which had just come out. I got some ideas that led to a couple of papers. I got my first doctoral student, Sue Irvins. I also met my wife. She was not in the class. She has a PhD from Stanford in arts education. And we played an academic commuting game, a series of short-term appointments all down the West Coast. And seeking a better solution, we decided to leave Stanford and seek academic positions together to provide a problem. We found UT Austin. At UT, statistics was in the math department. Peter John was there. Carl Morris had just arrived and soon to be joined by David Hinkle. Then was promising. However, the mathematicians barely tolerated statistics. I sensed that there were problems in moving to business school. By traditional standards, such a move did not seem propitious. It's like an absorbing state in Markov, or a black hole. But I was ready to branch out beyond mathematical statistics. In addition, I thought that there would be more opportunities to cultivate personally profitable activities in the business school. When I became an academic, I did not take without offering. My professional career has had 3 main foci. Initially on mathematics environmental statistics, that is air pollution, and finance, or studying behavior of insurance companies. I also have a thriving consulting business. In the last several years, UT has finally gotten statistics right. We have a new Department of Statistics as of last fall. Although I remain in the business school, I'm affiliated with the new department as core faculty. Already, we probably have the strongest Bayesian non-parametric group in the world. We're active in recruiting out of the top departments. It has been too long since I have visited my alma mater. I have 20 pages of reminiscences I could share with you, but Dale says I have less than 5 minutes. So I will say that my Iowa roots remain strong. My mother, brother, sister, and their families are still in Iowa. Please invite me back for the centennial.